Yo,
Yo, what's good? Do you hear me?
yeah, yeah.
I gotta figure out. Hold on, I'm hearing you through the freaking computer, not through the headphones. Hold on. How do I fucking? I've never done it through Anchor, bro. I usually just do it through Zoom and then just do some editing in the background.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, then
Ch-
I gotta show my face. You know what I mean?
Nah, man, you just block the camera. But I got you. It's all good.
Put a piece of tape over it like Snowden. You know what
Oh,
I mean?
yeah, I have it. I have that for sure already. Damn, man. How do I? You wouldn't know how to do it on Anchor, would you? How do I?
Dude, honestly, I'm doing it on my phone with a pair of Apple headphones.
You know what? I'm just gonna take off the headphones and we're gonna go live just with the
That's it.
computer with the crappy MacBook speakers.
That's it. That's how we do it.
All right, let's go. What's going on, man? Thanks for having me on here, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Thanks for coming. Thanks for encouraging me to do this in the first place.
Oh man, that's huge, man. I didn't, I knew you were early when you were asking me some questions, but I didn't know it was I played a part in that. So yeah, that's awesome. That's actually what I strive to do, man. I just I got into this a little while ago, and I really believe in podcasting. I'm a podcast connoisseur. I like eat them up, and I wanted to get into it, but then after a while, I started figuring out that us newbies are getting killed out here, man. The big companies are handing out these checks, bro, and they ain't filling us in.
Yeah, yeah, bro. Well, I think that's the important part that we play, right? Is that we're not. I mean, I'll keep it on me, right?
Yeah,
I'm not willing to take a check from anybody to say anything, and I think that's what's missing, really, for me in my experience, right? Like that's a big part of what's missing in the podcasting arena for like newer plebs. You know what I mean? Like
for sure.
you got these guys that are like doing these great, well produced podcasts, but they're shilling you something.
Word.
They're bringing on people that aren't Bitcoin only.
Right.
They and it's just I feel like the space is really like, here's a great podcast once you know what the fuck you're talking about. But if you don't know what you're talking about, it's kind of hard to find those, like, somebody you can relate to. Because
Yeah.
even when you find the ones that are aimed at people who are newer in the space, they're run by somebody with this wealth of information who almost can't bridge that communication gap.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's a war against, the algorithms, right? Because it's, like you said, they got the Joe Rogans of the world. Now they're giving like Michelle Obama deals and stuff like that. So they put all their money to put them up top. And then you and I mean, I've tried to search for my podcast on Apple, man. And even with like an accurate Jose Burgos, it was like not showing up, dude. It was like, nah. So it's like, yeah, we're fighting this thing. But the thing was before is we kind of had to keep our mouths in check because and this podcasting thing, if you don't link up with some sponsors, you're not making any cheddar, right? And then usually that doesn't matter because we love to do this, but it also takes a lot of time, right? And it also takes a lot of gear, and it also takes a lot of things to do it right. So it's like, when am I going to get reimbursed? But when I stumbled into, like what the Lightning Network was doing and the podcasting 2.0, I was like, oh, this shit is over. This shit is over. I no longer have to check my lip to try to get a sponsor because my peoples could just hit me up direct.
Exactly.
It's a win, bro. Yeah,
I've been thinking about Breeze. I was talking to Stony last night.
Shout out to Stony.
Yeah. I was kind of like commenting on one of his threads. He was talking about some shit. I forget what the fuck story was honestly about, but I asked him, he had mentioned Breeze, and I was like, yo, like, what do you think about it? Because I'm really thinking about moving the pod over there, because my whole vision, like I talked to you before I had ever done anything, and like my whole vision was I want to be able to come on here and say whatever the fuck I want to say.
Yeah.
Without somebody being like, oh, yeah, well, you've been submitted for review and we'll let you know if it gets posted.
Word.
Like, I want to circumvent that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And the passive aggressive shit too, where they won't tell you that, but the algorithm will just like blacklist you automatically. Yeah. So even if they don't send you a letter, they're going to cut you off anyways.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, unless I'm direct sharing my link with you, chances of you finding me are zero. You know what I mean?
Yeah, never mind getting anybody to sponsor you up. But yeah, about the Breeze thing, bro, all you got to do, first of all, we're on the same path. We're on the same journey. I wanted the same thing. I wanted to be able to, I have a few podcasts. I do a Bitcoin one, and then I do my own Jose Burgos podcast. So I got two. And yeah, man, I first of all, we need to get off this Anchor thing. I know it's ironic that we're recording on Anchor. And I know it's the easiest way to do it, but Anchor is also pulling strings, man, because when I talk to my audience in the background, bro, the response that I'm getting and the love that I'm getting is not showing up in the Anchor analytics. Right. So they're already messing with the numbers, and as a creator, we kind of live off those numbers because it lets us know if we're doing good things, if we're doing terrible things, whatever. But I'm telling you, when the people reach out to me, it's not what I'm seeing there. So first of all, we got to get off of Anchor, dude. But in the meantime, what I suggest you do is what I did. You reach out to the podcast Index 2.0 people, which is I forgot their names. I haven't talked to them in a while, but I know is Adam Curie is like the big one there. You're going to reach out to them and they're going to get your Anchor XML for this podcast and they're going to put it in the index. And once it's in the index, dude, apps like Breeze, apps like Sphinx, they'll pick that up automatically. You don't have to go to every single app because they're all tapping into the XML that the Index 2.0 is providing. So you don't even have to go directly to Breeze. You could just be like, hey, get my podcast 2.0. And all these, Lightning apps are going to pick you up automatically. And then your peoples could stream stats at you, bro.
Exactly. And Anchor is essentially a shitcoin.
Yeah.
So they'd be like, oh, we'll get you on all these other platforms, right? And then they're like, oh, would you like to add some music? Cool, you added some music, so now you're only on Spotify. Because that's Spotify music, and we can't put you on all these other platforms. Like I did like a 30-second intro, like preview to the first episode, right? Hit like, I don't know, 8 platforms or some shit. I put some music on the first episode, Spotify only. Stupid. You know what I mean? Like it's like you said, it's so loaded against people like the little guy like us. You know what I mean? Like if you're fucking Pedro McCarthy, you know what I mean? You can do whatever the fuck you want and get 50,000 listens. You know what I mean? Like it's no different though. But right? We've been sold a broken system forever. Why not be a broken podcast system?
For sure. That's exactly what it is, man. It's just the old legacy system to marketing. It's the same reason why, 10 years ago, you were able to run a successful Facebook ad campaign with like $100. And now you're going to need to pony up $100,000 if you even want to compete with your ads. They just figured out that if if you have to go to them, they can charge you whatever they want to do whatever they want. And as you and I know as Bitcoiners, that's all crumbling down. And these companies are going to have to figure out what to do, play along or just basically disintegrate. But that's the mission. I'm with you, bro. This podcasting, I've said in one of my tweets, is the last beacon of real truth. Like, you learn a lot more from a Joe Rogan podcast episode than you do on CNN or any of these other things. And that's because, he's being censored, but you know what I mean? Like you can get real truth in podcasts like yours, podcasts like mine's, because we have no affiliations. We got no connections. We just like to fuck shit. We're just plebs.
He was originally the dude too that was like, they were like, oh, don't say such and such or we're going to censor you. And he was like, well, I have fuck you money, so I'll just pay your fine. Like, that's the Joe Rogan I miss. You know what I mean? Now he's like, oh, they took my episodes, but that's okay. No, bro, that's not okay.
He fell in love with the fiat, man. That fiat, man, it's manipulative, man. They gave him $100 million and they basically turned him into a cuck. And that's not to diss him because I still enjoy Joe Rogan, but there's definitely a difference between the previous Joe Rogan and this one for sure.
Oh, fuck yeah. Fuck yeah.
And I hate Spotify. I'm big on that. I tell my listeners that all the time. Not only is their app clunky and bad on a UI standard, but I don't like what they stand for. They're basically just trying to do, the walled garden effect where they buy everything and then it's fuck everybody else.
Which is so funny because when they hit market, that was not like their shill.
Correct.
Right? Their shill was like, oh, fuck iHeartRadio, like come to us. You know what I mean? Like fuck all the big guys. We're gonna help out the little guy. And then like it's the same shit you just said about Joe Rogan. They fell in love with the fiat and they're like, oh, now it's just fuck everybody and get the money.
Yeah, right. So we'll see where we go from here. But yeah, definitely, man. You got to get a hold of the Adam Curie and those guys. They're super helpful anyways. And you'll get this thing straight up so people can start contributing, because if you keep relying on Anchor, and I know it's just convenience in the beginning, you just try to get up, rolling up real quick, and Anchor could do that for you. But if I were to suggest a goal as somebody who has done, over 150 podcasts, I would definitely say it's about time we get off of this and we start hosting our own shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah. I gotta link up with you after this too. I talked to that dude about servers for you.
Oh yeah, we gotta talk. Yeah, for sure. And there's a cat that started following me. That's a Bitcoiner from Austin, and he seems to be hosting his own shit on the website. I got to talk with him. Follow Pleb.
Yeah, I bought a URL
Yeah, sweet.
like prior to doing this, and I was like, I don't know what I'm ever gonna do with it. Right, I was on Clubhouse all the time, listening
Yep.
to all these people talk shit. Right, I hadn't like found my voice in the space per se. Right, I was
Sure.
still learning because I was very cautious. Right, about like, I mean, anybody who spent some time on like Bitcoin Clubhouse, especially a couple months ago, like,
Yeah.
you learn pretty quickly to just keep your fucking mouth shut when you're in a room with people who know their shit, because you listen to people come in who've like read 2 articles and they get lit the fuck up.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got nothing to say. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
every time I felt that way a lot too. But the few instances where I was able to talk, I kind of felt like I did my proof of work, right? Like I got my homework in here too. I do agree with you. I have seen those dudes that you can tell they haven't really done any work on it, and they get chewed up. But I think it's one of those things I'll see where like if we put in our work, people notice it, man. People are like, you and I are having this conversation for a reason. I didn't do it because I felt bad for you. I did it because I saw you doing your work. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, I did. It's one of those things. Proof of work is legit, man. I know as Bitcoiners know it, but sometimes in life we don't realize how important it is to just have that proof of work. And people gravitate to that, and people want to exchange value for that, and people want to do things like this and collaborate because they see the proof of work, man. And yeah, that's just a long-winded way to say that. We just got to keep grinding, man.
yeah, hell yeah, man. I've been so overwhelmed with the amount of help and love that I got. Like, I mean, I was reaching out to you, I was talking to you, and it was just such
1000%.
I was so timid. And like I haven't reached out to a single person yet, and they've been like, "Nah, fuck that, I ain't coming on your podcast."
That's dope. Yeah,
awesome. I mean, everybody's like, "Fuck yeah, whenever we can do it."
Yeah, I had the Gigi on the podcast, and I right off the bat he told me something right up that I agree 100%, and which is in part the reason I'm doing this. He's like, look, the least I could do for Bitcoin is give it my time for everything it has given me, and that's definitely real, man. I think most plebs feel that way. And, I told my wife and a few people that it kind of just feels like I've always been the kid that knows the cool kids, but doesn't really hang out with them. But now I found the misfits, right? Now I found the people that roll with me and understand me. And it's a party, man. It's popping.
Yeah, man. We're the land of misfit toys.
I love it, man. I love it. I mean, that's weird to say, but it's my people's, man. Like we're going to go to war together. We're going militia together, and we may end up dead after all this shit, man. But I like our chances.
But we leave a legacy. That's what matters in my mind. Sure.
I do like our chances, though.
Yeah, fuck yeah. you come to the battleground with the superior weapon, your chances are good.
For sure.
And we just so happen to be lucky enough to have the superior weapon on our side.
Absolutely, man. We're winning in that end, but they don't even know it. I like the analogy when people say the meteor coming for the dinosaurs or whatever. That's a cool one.
Yes,
that's exactly what it feels like. It's like they don't know it. They're just chilling. They think they got this, but it's about to change fast.
Yeah, fuck yeah. It's so like, you get over the fucking. I mean, I woke up this morning and honestly, I'm ready for like, can we go one way or the other? Like, I feel the same way I felt at like 58K.
Yep.
Like, can we just fucking dump into like whole coin territory, or can we like rip and melt faces because people are just so fucking bored on Bitcoin Twitter? Like I posted some shit last night and literally in my post said, "This is my speculation," all in caps.
Yeah.
And people just murder in the comments section. Like, nah, you're wrong. This is it. I'm an expert in this. I'm like, bro,
yeah,
relax. I never claimed to be a fucking, you know what I mean? Like, this is my speculation on what I think is going to happen from what I've read, the shit that I've listened to, some homies that I know that are like deep in the industry.
Right.
And people are just, I mean, dealing with Monero shills this morning on my fucking, on my comments. You know what I mean? Like, have fun being surveilled. Shut the fuck up. Take your shit coin and go back to fuck where nobody cares about you.
Seriously. Yeah. No, I agree. I kind of just like melt all that away. But they have to say something, man. They have to say something. I'm just looking for the information. I guess the signal, not the noise. Like if somebody's giving some information, even if they're a shitcoiner, I hear them out. But the problem that they're having is that they're not providing any information. Like
Correct.
I just like in the last political season that just happened. You're not about to come in my arguments and debate with me. I'm not trying to debate, but now you can come and try to teach me something, and I'll listen. Like
Yes.
those are very two different things, and people don't know that. People think that they have to change somebody's mind at every second of every moment. I've even been guilty of this, right? So it's not even like I'm numb to that. But over time, I just learned that listen, I'm not going to debate you over social media for the world to see. And I'm not about to debate you over text messages because, man, even with my lady, if I send her a weird text message that she reads the wrong way, it ends up going sour. So I've fucked up a lot of relationships and a lot of friendships just by relying on a text message, man. The text message is the worst way to communicate.
Yeah,
So
for sure. The fastest
imagine
way to be
that.
misunderstood.
Imagine that with 50 million people watching. Nah, man. I can't do that. I can't. So I learned that a little while ago, man. Like you might see me get saucy every now and then, but for the most part, I stay on my lane and I try to contribute to this thing because I love to talk about it. It's probably the only thing I talk about most in my day. It's changed my life in such a dramatic fashion. Not only when it comes to obviously financial, but when it comes to my mindset and that seeing the world as it is type feeling. So fuck all wasting my time trying to please anybody jumping in my comments and trying to fight. I'm just gonna give my information and whoever wants it takes it and whoever doesn't, all right, see you later.
Yeah. I'm slowly coming off the younger, better looking Bitcoin Tina run. You know what I mean? Where I just want to dive in and scream at people. I got spaces and I was like, nah, you're fucking dumb. You're stupid. Yeah. Go back to your place. Your shitcoin's junk. This is wrong. That's wrong. And I was like, you know what? I come to this place, right? And I was talking to Quinn Icarus about it, where like I've come to this place that I understand that our role really as plebs, and this is from me, right?
Right.
Our role as plebs is to really plant a seed. Because if somebody ain't ready to find Bitcoin,
yeah,
nothing you say or scream or articulate is gonna get them ready to find Bitcoin. Bingo. Everybody, the age-old adage of like, oh, you get Bitcoin at the price you deserve.
Yep.
Like,
it's true.
Our job is to plant that seed so that someday somebody's like, hey, let me look into that Bitcoin thing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I think that's where the where like the have fun staying poor comes in, right? Like it's in the very beginning, I kind of saw it as a little bit toxic because I wanted to educate people. But then I realized what you just said right there, which is, man, I've tried really hard to educate some people and they still fucking don't care. So it's like, the fastest way I can say it to you is just have fun staying poor. And I think that's where now I don't think it's toxic. I think it's just the God honest truth. Have fun, just staying poor. Like you could be content. You don't want Bitcoin, I got it. You're gonna stack up that 401k, I got it. You're gonna do all those little fiat moves in the background, I got it. Kudos to you. Oh, you got 3 rental properties. Oh, awesome. Have fun staying poor though. Because I've given you all this information that could maybe even make all those things you just named better just by holding a different type of asset. And you're just telling me that basically I'm playing around with goofy coins on the internet. All right.
Well, exactly.
Have fun. That's where it comes in.
I got so tired of hearing, well, take me to a Bitcoin ATM and show me that I can get money out of it.
Ah, fuck that.
I'm like,
fuck that. I'm not gonna be your cuck. Don't fucking tell me what to do. I'm giving you free, valuable information. If you don't want it, that's absolutely fine. But I don't. Come on. That's like saying, hey, go to the fucking store and get me some stogies. No, I'm not gonna fucking go to the store and get you some fucking stogies. Fuck out of here. But yeah, I feel you, man. I once again, I go on my Tina rants as well. Shout out to Tina. I love Tina. But I think these people have been around long enough to basically say, hey, man, there's plenty of great writers. There's plenty of great podcasts. There's plenty of great video. There's plenty of great resources from people that have given you this information. Back to proof of work. Like, it's your job to actually go and dig through this like you have done, like I have done. You don't have to believe me, but these people are smart, man. These people are not saying half-ass brain dead shit like you find on the other shitcoin sides. There's even I've never even seen a thoughtful conversation on like Ethereum that even brings up like, safety, security, wallets, cold storages. Contrary, you go over to Clubhouse, Bitcoin Clubhouse, and you got this thing over here. You got rooms that last 9 to 12 hours talking about hardware wallets and trying to teach people how to like do it the right way. So that just tells me, man. It just tells me that one side is serious and the other side is just fucking around. And I don't want to fuck around with my life.
Exactly. I mean, my shit really ends at like, if and not saying that there'll ever come something that there will ever come an asset that will like take my passion away from Bitcoin, but you show me a shitcoin that historically doesn't react price wise to what Bitcoin's doing, and I
Yeah.
might pay attention for more than 10 seconds.
Yeah, it
But
won't happen though.
no, when Bitcoin's moving and your shit's dumping, like
Yeah.
the dude I was arguing with about Monero this morning, he's like sending me 1 month charts on Bitcoin. I'm like, cool, bro, but your fucking coin's down too. Like,
yeah, I'll see. You don't even entertain that, man. Your life was too bad.
the fuck are you showing me? Like that's what I mean. I didn't entertain him really. I sent him back a GIF. You know what I mean? And I was like, oh my god, a 1 month chart. I didn't know. Everybody sell. You know what I mean? Like, get the fuck out of here.
I'm good. First of all, I don't know how to read charts, but I was in a I never comment on like I only follow like 2 rappers, right? Like, like celebrities like that. I don't follow people like that. So I follow Benny the Butcher, right? I'm a big Griselda fan. I like what they got going on. And he just did one of those like, hey, crypto, whatever. So I went in there, big mistake. I went in there and just basically, laid our case down, which is, hey man, this is the only thing you really need. This is the only thing that really works. And boy, did I get hit up with a dude from Ethereum talking to me about percentages rising and I'm like, oh shit. And it was a mistake, man. It took probably like an hour or 2 of my life, dude, just to talk to that dude. And I got nothing out of it because he just kept telling me that Ethereum was growing at a faster rate than Bitcoin was. And I was just like, man, I have fun staying poor, right? I don't know what else to say.
See, and I feel like it's important, and a lot of people are going to disagree with me on this. Luckily, nobody will listen to this, so I probably won't get too much shit about it.
You'd be surprised. There's a lot of people listening. Go ahead, though.
But I feel like it's important to have that. Like, I have some shitcoin experience, right? Like, I feel like most Bitcoiners have shitcoin experience, right? And I went down Ethereum's the new internet, and like I went down that wormhole, and like, you figure out with some time, like you start to see behind the veil of what they're advertising, right?
Yeah.
There was a video came out the other day. I don't know if you heard it of, which I'm not a huge fan of Pomp, but Pomp had Jack Mollis on his show.
Okay.
Jack was just like talking about how Ethereum's a fucking scam and about how like they're in the aspect of their marketing does not line up with their product. They say this, but like really that's not what they're giving you.
Right.
So like when you have that experience in the shitcoin realm, like, I was on that, up until probably this year. I've been a Bitcoiner probably since like 2017.
Okay.
Or I should say I've been into Bitcoin since 2017, but like I fucked around with shitcoins probably right up until this year.
Yeah.
And I say that saying like I had like 2 shitcoins left when this year rolled around, and then I dumped my bags as they were on their way up and bought more Bitcoin. Yeah. But like it was important for me to, be humble at some point and look back and be like, hey, listen, I was that dude that thought Ethereum was going to the moon. You know what I mean? Like I was the dude that thought that coin X, Y, and Z were going to the moon. And like I made some money, don't get me wrong, but like I got wrecked a couple times too. And like it takes that fucking experience to be like, hey, like this is why it's Bitcoin only.
Definitely. Yeah. Nah, I'm with, I have my own little record story too. I came in 2017, but I didn't have any education, man. So as soon as it started plummeting, I lost a lot of money, but I jumped out, and that was on Bitcoin. That was just because I didn't understand the plummets. I didn't understand none of that. But yeah, like you, after that, I kind of forgot about it for a year. And then when I came back, I was like, well, this Ethereum thing looks really cool and it's cheaper, and all that unit bias stuff and all the bullshit. Thankfully, I understood Bitcoin very early. Like I understood its core principle. I understood the problems it was trying to solve very early. So I didn't get to put much into Ethereum. So I didn't get wrecked like a lot of other people did. But yeah, I played around with those other shitcoins too. But the problem was that I'm an information guy. You need information to be able to propel my thinking. If you're giving me something that, it's not necessarily well organized, I'm probably just going to ignore it. So every time I would get nervous about my Ethereum or my Bitcoin going down, I would go back and look for more information to get more conviction. And you know, it's not now. I look at it as it's not surprising at all. But every time I would go back to Ethereum, I couldn't find any support that basically made me more convicted. And matter of fact, the deeper I dug, the more I doubt, you know, where my money was at and what it was doing. And I got 4 kids, so I'm trying to keep an eye on this money 1,000%. And I'm terrible at investing, so that's another problem that I got there. So then, you know, on the contrary, on the other side with Bitcoin, every time I went back to the drawing board and, you know, did research, there was always another article, there was always another Parker Lewis, there was always something that just made me more convicted, made me more bullish, and did it in a way that made me understand Bitcoin as a whole, you know, better. And that's it. I was just like, look, I'm not fucking with these other coins because nobody over there seems to be able to put together a well-organized article to tell me why the fuck I should stay bullish on it.
Yeah.
They have nothing. They have nothing. I've never seen a security conversation. I'm not saying they don't happen. I'm just saying I've never seen a Ethereum a clubhouse room that says, "Hey, we're talking about, you know, securing your wealth." I haven't seen nothing. All I see is goofy tactics, NFT hype, you know, stuff like that. And you know, listen, I got 4 kids. You know, we talk about legacy a lot, and I'm not playing with that. I'm not gonna play with fire. I'm not an investor. I don't pretend to be one. So why the fuck would I try to invest on something and give up possibly my whole legacy, what my kids have to eat?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, you know, we're very similar in that. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
this is for my kids. This is so that the system and what I leave to my kids is not broken the way that what was left to me was broken.
1,000%.
You know what I mean? Like a couple, probably, I don't know, 4 years ago, I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, the man that raised me passed away, right?
Yep.
And he, like, his idea was to leave me all these things. Like, that's what he told me all my life, right? Like, not that he had a lot of things, like, don't get me wrong.
I understand. Yep.
And like, he passed away, and just the way that the system is set up against things like that, like, I feel very strongly about, like, the death tax and all of that. And, like,
Sure.
you know, I ended up with a leather jacket of his, and I'm still in probate court trying to figure that out.
Ouch.
Almost 5 years later. You know what I mean? So, like, to be able to, like, come into, and, like, I talk about this a lot, that, like, this is what Bitcoin means to me. It's hope that, like, if I walked out in the street tomorrow and got hit by a bus, my kids and my wife could walk in my room and pick up my cold card.
Yep.
And everything would be right there.
Yeah, man.
They don't have to go to a bank teller. They don't have to explain to a branch manager. None of that.
Right. No. 1,000%.
What I've worked, you know, you know, in Bitcoin, we talk a lot about exchanging our time for money.
Yeah.
And for my kids and my legacy to be able to be carried on, and all of my time physically held in their hands when that day comes, that all that energy that I've put in, right? It's an exchange of energy. Like, that's
stored
huge.
energy. It's incredible. That's incredible.
That's huge. That's something that hasn't been able to happen in a long time, if ever.
Yeah. Yeah. And in a more near, it's never been able to happen. Not in this type of global reach, right? It's always centralized somewhere, or has to be origin somewhere. But even in the short term, you're still storing energy. I understand that's exactly what I want to do, give it to my kids. But even in the short term, and if you were to, you know, get a multi-sig loan on to get a new house or anything like that, you're able to unleash this energy at any moment of your life as well, and not give it up. So it's like a battery that never runs out of juice.
Yes.
And it's crazy because that's exactly what I think. I know a lot of people bring up, well, I'm never touching my Bitcoin. Yes, you're 1,000% right. I'm not either. But if I could get a really good very low interest loan, because I have this collateral asset that's super strong, and I have a multi-sig, meaning that I don't give up custodian of that, you know, Bitcoin or whatever, I can still supercharge my life financially, still hold on to my coin, and still be able to pass it on to my kids at a certain point in time whenever on. So yeah, like you said, never has it ever existed, but the possibilities that we can do when we start thinking like this. Because, you know, listen, I grew up in the projects, right? I grew up and just, you know, getting your money fast, getting your money on the street, getting that blood money. That's what we know. That's what we do. This is different because that money was all part of that game, meaning that we're going to end up locked up. We're going to end up in the system somehow. We're going to end up in this crazy circle. And then Bitcoin is a completely different thing, where it's a supercharged battery, and I don't even have to do anything to, like, illegal for it. I don't even have to do anything weird. I just have to own it, and we're good. It's the ultimate hustle of all time, man. And I don't mean hustle in the bad way, like people most think. I think when I wake up every morning and I think, wow, I have this, and all I had to do was click a button. It's like some type of robbery to the world. It's like I'm cheating something, like a cheat code. Do you feel that though?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it's
for sure.
crazy. It's crazy. Just at a click of a button, we understand that there's not only has there been proof of work behind this value, so it's not made up, coins. There's a system that organizes this and keeps it real and gives us value. But never, if you would have asked me maybe not five, longer, like 10 years ago, that me pushing a button and some numbers coming into my phone is gonna make me richer, I would have told you were bugging the fuck out.
Yeah, I mean, we come from a time where you didn't even have a phone.
Film right, like a pager, like the numbers you were getting were a pager.
Yeah, me and my wife laugh about it. We're like, yo, you remember when I used to be like, all right, I'll call you after 9 o'clock because it's free after 9.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I ain't gonna run out of minutes.
Yeah.
You know
I paid the extra $5 for the 7 o'clock cutoff.
Exactly. But on that, so I wanna address that on that to buy a house, because there was a thread on my page the other day where
sure
some dude was about this, right? Because like I went in this Bitcoin only room, this Bitcoin only Twitter space, and you go in there and there's people like telling newcomers about like laddering in and laddering out and taking profit, and I'm like, and listen, if you want to tell people that, that's fine, but like, don't be telling people that if I'm clicking on your profile and it says I'm a Bitcoin maximalist, hyper Bitcoinization, because you don't believe that.
Right.
So I was actually talking to a buddy of mine who's been in the space a long time, and he had bought a house through his Bitcoin, and he was like, the thing that people don't really think about is the way that I did it is I took a loan against my Bitcoin to buy the house, and then I went to the bank and I pulled a mortgage on the property because I owned it outright, and then I took the money from that mortgage and I paid off my coins and got my coins back.
Right.
Because the interest rate on my coins was like 9%.
Yeah.
And the interest rate on my mortgage from the bank was like 3.
Yeah. Right.
He's like, so I did it just with like a couple extra steps, but it's still being able to hold my sovereign wealth and use my sovereign wealth to my advantage.
Yeah. The only difference is when people first started telling me about it, like, in the 2017, 2018s and all that stuff, all I could really hear is, oh, so I got to give them my Bitcoin and they hold on to it. I just think now it's a much more like approach to me, more approachable to me because of like the Unchained Capitals of the world, right? Like these companies now that are basically saying, yo, set up this multi-sig. And as long as you continue to pay your loan, which you're going to do anyways, whatever you try to loan or get house, car, whatever, as long as you do that, you own 2 of these 3 keys and you'll be all set. And when the payoff period is done, your coin goes back to you untouched. It's no league. You don't need lawyers for it. You don't need anything. You have the keys. You're able to unlock it. That's the agreement. And that makes it more, I've been learning more about that. Like, how would I ever in my lifetime, because I do want it for my kids, but however, how do I use my Bitcoin in my lifetime to be able to, leave a 9 to 5, right? To be able to do these things without being a trader, because, my co-host on Talking in Bits, he's more of an investor. And I'm with you. I don't know how you can be both. I don't know how you can be Bitcoin maxi. And I don't know how you could be a trader of a bunch of different coins, but there is a world where they exist, because most of the time they're just turning whatever they get profit into Bitcoin anyways.
Everybody is.
Yeah. So to me, it's like I try to have these discussions with them, and I can knock it because I'm more of a I'm a maxi in a sense, but I gotta be real. If he's getting more Bitcoin than I am the way he's doing it, then that's good. That's not a bad thing. So I can't really knock him for that. But I do agree with you that there's a lot of guys out here that are just perpetrating, right, and trying to do that two-sided affair thing. Me personally, the reason I left in 2017 Bitcoin was because I'm a terrible investor. Like, I'm too emotional when it comes to my family's money, my time, my energy. So yeah, man, I just can't do it. But no matter how much I try to knock those dudes, some of them are extremely successful, including some people I know. And they usually just buy more Bitcoin anyway. So I could talk all the shit I want and all the maxi shit that I want. If they're getting more Bitcoin than I am, then does it really matter?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their methods.
I agree. And I think, listen, there are definitely, you're absolutely right. There are definitely people out there that kill it at that game. Yeah. But that being said, the truest shit I ever heard was in a Bitcoin only clubhouse room, and American Hodl said it when he was shredding somebody who was selling a TA course.
Yep. Oh boy.
That 99.9% of people should not trade.
Yeah.
You're gonna get wrecked.
For sure.
For every one person that is making, that's coming up,
yeah,
there's 100 people that are losing massive amounts of money, if not everything.
Yeah.
So I think it's such a dangerous topic to talk about in a room where you have people who are just entering the space.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, I'm really interested in this crypto. It puts a bad taste in everybody's mouth. If you come into just exactly the same way you said it and exactly what happened to me in 2017, when you come into the space and you lose money on your first introduction to the space, it puts a bad taste in your mouth for the space as a whole. You don't want to hear about how Bitcoin's going to save the world when you just got fucking wrecked.
Yeah, you just lost a check.
right. Or 10 checks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, I think that's really important. Like, I find that part of my mission, per se, as a Bitcoin maximalist, when I go in a room, that if I hear somebody shilling to a newcomer, like, hey, oh yeah, like, you can do this, and if you watch the chart and it does, like, don't fucking tell them that.
Yeah.
You're lying to them.
For sure.
You're lying. If it was that easy, everybody would work at Goldman Sachs. Everybody would work on Wall Street. Nobody would have a different job. Everybody would be a trader if it was that easy to make money. And the sad part is, I was talking to Coin Icarus about it. The sad part is, you coming out of 2020 when the market took a huge shit, and then all these people were stuck at home, and everybody opened a fucking Robinhood account or a Webull account, and everybody thinks they're an expert trader.
Word.
No, the market went from its lowest low to its highest high in 12 months.
Nuts.
So all you had to do was buy fucking anything and hold, and you were an expert trader. Everybody looked like a genius.
Broke all the rules.
Yeah, and drinking your own Kool-Aid is the worst shit, because you do that. That was my story. I came from there, and then I found the wallet that I had some crypto in, and I was like, oh yeah, let me go back to crypto because look at all these massive gains. Fall of 2020 probably, and that shit will get you fucking destroyed in crypto. Destroyed.
Yeah.
Because you don't have rug pulls in the stock market, because shit's regulated. You know what I mean? Right. Like, at any time they can just be like, hey, or what was it? DeFi 100. We fucked you and there's nothing you can do about it. Ha ha ha. That was what their website changed to, their white paper. Overnight.
Pretty much.
Like, that shit's crazy.
Yeah. Nah, listen, I think about this, Bitcoin thing as a revolution. So to me, it's like, well, what's my job in that? We're from New England, so we obviously know. Well, I'm from New England. Is where you at part of New England? I don't think so.
Yeah.
Is it? Oh man, I'm terrible. Anyways, my point is we know, the Patriot model, do your job. That's big around here. So to me, it's like, all right, well, how do I serve the militia? How do I serve this revolution? And yeah, I can't fuck around and, like you said, give bad advice. I just can't fuck around and tell somebody, yo, that coin, you can flip it and turn it into this, because I don't know how to do that. So I don't know how to predict it. Like I told you earlier, I don't know how to read charts. I don't do that stuff, man. So my job is my job. And the point of my Talking a Bit show, and this is not shameless plugging, this is just a good example, is that, it's supposed to be like a first take, like a Stephen A. and Max Kellerman thing, where it's like, he's the investor type, I'm more of the, the Maxi, the techie, the guy that really likes all the good stuff. And that's fine. But it runs the strict. I told them that, in the previous episode, or one of the previous episodes, that, hey, man, my job is to just tell people about this freedom go up technology. I don't have any other job. I'm not trying to make money off of anybody. I'm not trying to tell them to do certain things because I want to go and sell a course on how to do it later on. I'm not trying to do any of the sorts. My job, and my only job in this revolution, is to harness information and give it to as many people as possible about freedom go up technology, because in the world we live in, we have no freedom, but we have the tool to achieve it. My job is to explain that tool. I have no other role. I don't talk to people about Bitcoin when it comes about money go up technology. I know it does that, and I definitely want to be wealthy, and I definitely obviously want to leave wealth for my kids. But the freedom aspect of Bitcoin is my job to teach, not the money go up. I'm not an investor guy. I don't know shit about shit, but I know that this is the way out of that other bullshit.
Exactly. That's really, to kind of wrap up this topic, like that's
Sure.
where I'm at with, you know, when I go in a Bitcoin room, like if you know, all the power to you. If you want to be a shiller of shit coins and you want to lead the unsuspecting sheep into the fire or into the
Yeah.
wolf's den, good for
Yeah.
you. But not on our fucking watch.
For sure.
Not a fucking chance.
I do
Don't
think
be.
like it's kind of Max Kaiser-ish. I'm probably paraphrasing him, but he says something along the lines of like Bitcoin just sucks evil out. It sucks poison out. And yeah, I think if you're a charlatan, or like you said, or you're just preying on sheep and all that, Bitcoin and its immune system, the Hornets, will basically just pick you apart. They'll find you, they'll pull you out, they'll extract you, they'll put you on Front Street, and then you'll never exist again. Like you just disappear off whatever Twitter or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, man, I'm with you, man, but it's still a revolution, and I want more people to think about it that way, because it's easy to fall asleep and say, as long as I tap this button, I get this value. But we all know the stuff that's happening behind the KYC compliance and all that stuff. So it's not just a get rich quick scheme. It's a freedom thing. It's a privacy thing. That's what the cryptographers wanted at the very beginning, the CryptoPunks. So it's the cypherpunks. So we need to honor those things, and that's why I like to always use revolutionary metaphors as much as I can, because I don't think people understand that it's a fight. It's a real fight. It's not like rifles and stuff, but it's a fucking fight. We're gonna have to fight this shit out, and that's
damn
what
well could be.
Huh?
I said damn well could be.
Yeah, that's another thing to set up for sure. But at this moment, it's like our privacy versus what they can do to legislate that privacy.
Right.
And right now, because of just the beauty. And I like reading a lot of their GG, but the beauty and the poetry of what Satoshi was able to put together, it kind of just every time they think they got one, there's a way around it. There's a way around it. Like a perfect example is, they're going to be analyzing the blockchain. Well, here comes Taproot, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's just the cypherpunks code, and they always find a way. This is absolutely at least in our lifetime, this is our final chance, bro.
Oh yeah.
And I don't think, maybe people are just not as convicted as that, right? Like they haven't done as much work as I have. But in all the work that I've dug into and all the brilliant people in the space and that have been here from the very beginning, not to keep bringing them up, but that conversation I had with their Gigi on the podcast, he was just like, yo, I've been around the block, man. Like I've been around for a while, man. And this shit never lets you down. It's the truth, man. It's the only truth. And damn, I can't be that naive to say, yo, he's wrong. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I can't. He put too much energy and work into everything he's done. You go down the list, man. The Jack Maulers of the world, all these people that just come out and literally say, hey, I'll put everything on the line for this one thing. I can't say I'm smarter than those people. I'm not smarter than those people.
No.
So
no.
It's crazy, bro. This is it. This is the last fight, man. We're either gonna win and our children are gonna be, free, or we're gonna lose and it's gonna get worse.
Yeah, fuck yeah. But I want to raise, you know what I mean? My goal really, teaching my kids about Bitcoin. I got a 10-year-old, I got a 3-year-old, and I got a 9-month-old.
Bless, man.
And like my 10-year-old takes coding classes.
Yeah.
I'm like, listen,
Smart man.
I love you. And like, I love what you're doing and going to school and all of that. Like, it's very important, but like, get a skill that's going to be useful in the years to come.
Yep.
Because I promise you that you are never, in my experience, you are never going to go to a job interview and the person interviewing you is going to be like, who is involved in the War of 1812? You know what I mean? Like, that shit is just not going to happen. That you're learning a lot of stuff in school that is good to get through school. And that's about what it's good for. That's
it, bro. Yeah, you nailed that one 1,000%. Yeah, my kids just know general stuff like that. I was a coder. I still kind of do it as a habit. If you notice my tag on my bio.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. This is like, I have a 17-year-old that's about to be 18. I have a 14-year-old. I got an 11-year-old, and I got an 8-year-old. Right, and
that's a good spread.
Yeah, man, and it's a 2 and 2, 2 boys, 2 girls. So I did some good things in life. But yeah, I try to like let the older one know, because she's struggling in school, man, and I'm already on that. Like, yeah, listen, I'm a high school dropout, right? So
Me
I'm like,
too.
yo, listen, you could get the fuck out of there, and we can learn some real life skills, man. Like I tell her that literally, like her only, not the little ones. I'm not trying to fuck anything up for any of all the young kids. But the older one, I'm like, let's get this money, right? Like, and I don't mean like the free, I mean like the value into the world. Like, let's get to work. Let's get to have hard days, right? Long days, so you can start building that wear and tear, and having this entrepreneur vibe, like where to get it next attitude. And if that means fuck the last year of school, I'm with it. Fuck the last year of fucking school. And for anybody listening, this is not parenting advice.
Now, fuck that. That is definitely parenting advice.
Oh, okay,
on this
cool.
podcast,
I
that
have
shit
a bond
is
with
definitely
my
fucking,
oldest.
definitely parenting advice.
Awesome. Yeah, I have a bond with my oldest, and I don't know if a lot of people have that bond with their kids, but yeah, man, because of what you said, it's like, yo, man, I don't remember the last time going to the bank or the store and worrying about algebra.
No.
Yeah, man, it's not a thing. These things are not a thing. It just keeps you asleep at the wheel, man. And when you're asleep at the wheel, they can fucking do whatever the fuck they want, man. And we just got to be awake, man, and we got to do it for our kids. But once again, it's our fight to fight. I always go back to the Constitutional Army, and we're a bunch of ragtags or whatever. But look what they did. They were able to build an empire. They were able to create the next 300 years of positive impact. Depending on who you ask. But they were able to do, set our kids up to be able to grow up in the world that we grew up in. Now it's our job to do that, man. It's a fight, and we all have to find our role. I know we are enthusiasts. Like, I love like security and multi-sigs and all that. I love that side of things. I'm a big lightning guy. Like, I got a node in my house and I do all that stuff. I love that stuff. As you know, we've talked about, I've recently done the mining stuff. So I get it. I'm understanding the system as a whole, by doing my work. But at some point, the generals are going to have to call for a certain type of, soldier, infantryman. And I got to pick my role. I got to pick my lane in this thing. And that's what I suggest for a lot of people. Pick your lane. You can learn everything as a general, of course, but pick your lane, pick your way of contributing, and get ready to strap up because they coming.
Oh yeah, they coming.
Yeah.
Even though they printing, they still coming.
Yeah, the whole mining shit and the ESG shit and that's all them, man. This whole big dump. I mean, I don't know shit about shit. I like to paraphrase that because I'm just rambling. But this whole price 30s that we've been seeing and stuff. It's just dumb motherfuckers playing games. The big whales manipulating shit.
I think it's sexy.
Huh?
I think it's sexy. You keep that fucking price.
That's what I'm saying. I keep telling plebs, keep getting it because they're stupid. It's gonna backfire on them because you're allowing more plebs to now stack up more. And then, if you want to use the analogy of being at the table, well, you're gonna be at the table with a lot of motherfucking plebs. And yeah, man, that's a battle they're gonna lose. But Satoshi got our bag, man. It all seems to be in there. It all seems to be coded in there. And that's why I like listening to like boomers like Tina and stuff like that, because it's like when a person like that has lived through a lot of shit that I haven't lived through and can still come to a consensus to say, yo, this shit is fucking dope. I gotta pay attention, man. I pay attention to my elders, man. They're smart people. They've lived a long life.
Yeah, hell yeah. And I know there's a lot of distaste. I caught a lot of flack for it, right? But like, I made a post that was like, listen, you don't have to like your predecessors in Bitcoin, but you should definitely respect them if they're still here.
Oh yeah, we're just what's that famous line? We're just standing on the shoulders of giants, man. Like
like there's a lot of predecessors I don't agree with, and I think they're fucking cockheads. But
for sure, man. Yeah, like
they were here and they've rode the wave.
Yeah, like the few obvious ones, like the few influencer ones, like listen, I love Jason Williams' like grit. I love that going parabolic attitude where it's like fuck the world and fuck this and fuck. But yeah, the guy gets his bag by any means, and sometimes that means he's gonna sell you some bullshit. And the same thing with Pomp. It's like I don't follow the dude, I don't interact with his stuff or anything like that. But he still happens to show up on my feed because motherfuckers is loving what he's talking about, and I gotta respect it. But that's noise to me. That's not signal to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, as far as Jason Williams is concerned, in my opinion, you can't take away from the book that he wrote and put out.
I haven't read it yet. It hasn't caught my attention. And I know it's a good book. I got my co-host there. A bunch of people have told me it's a fantastic book. I've read everything but that, and that's not a personal thing. Once again, I just know. I don't know. I'm a philosopher type guy, man. I like Parker Lewis, right? I like Alex Gladstein, right? Like I like those guys. To me, Jay Will is like the exciting guy, man. He's the over pompous cheerleader, and every space needs that. And he's fantastic, and he makes a ton of money.
Oof.
So I can't hate on his life. I love the parabolic attitude. I really do. But to me, I focus more and I in tune myself more with, like I said, the very more orator guys, like the Breed Loves of the world, the philosopher guys, because to me, this is life, this is freedom. But yeah, man, they're just
Ha-
influencers, dude. I mean,
have you read the Sovereign Individual yet?
I have, yeah, man. It's a long read. I did the audiobook. And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff there. But I think movies, we use the Matrix a lot, but I think movies like the Matrix and certain sci-fi movies like that kind of nailed that stuff as well. I think a lot of that the stuff we see now was noticeable even back then, and the Sovereign Individual is just another example of that. It's like, it was obvious from early on for anybody who was paying attention.
Yeah,
Um, yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that's the house I was raised in.
Nice.
Really, I mean, for me, like the guy, the gentleman that passed away that I was speaking about,
Mhm.
I was raised in his house. We were never confused as to think that the government ever had your best interest at heart.
Yeah.
Ever. He was very clear about that. He was like, they are going to take whatever they can take, and you need to worry about them coming to take it. Because I may not see it in my life, he used to tell me, but you will definitely see it in your life.
Interesting. Yeah, that's awesome.
And so it was very easy for me coming into Bitcoin and like hearing the hardcore maxis talk about like, yo, this is us and us versus them. That's what it boils down to.
Yeah. Yeah. Nah,
And
see, I grew up in the opposite. Just Puerto Rican household. My parents grinded their motherfucking ass off, and I was privileged. I mean, I grew up in the projects, but still was privileged enough, to get my Nintendo 64 when I asked for it. You know what I'm saying? So like,
yeah,
I wasn't struggling, nothing was crazy like that. But I just grew up in the projects. I saw that stuff. I just didn't pay attention to any of it. My parents never told me, even though they probably knew it, like they're getting jerked on taxes and all that. They never told us that stuff. But as I got older is when I started understanding, it's like, damn, I can never keep up. What is it? And then you dig down and you start finding out these motherfuckers are jerking you. But that's really cool that you had it kind of like embedded in you.
yeah. I mean, I was raised to know that they ain't trying to help you.
Word.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Nah,
And
that's apparent too. And then I'm here in Massachusetts, so it was very liberal for me. It's not that I depended on these services or trusted them. Is that I thought they were everyday talk. I thought this was happening everywhere, all around the world. And once again, as I get older, I become a homeowner. I start to see the fuckery. And then it's like, well, wait a minute. Why the fuck do you have to do that? And then they always have some lame ass fucking reason. Well, because you live in Massachusetts. And I was like, well,
mm,
like I'm trying to get some fucking shells right now. I don't know what the situation is right now, but I'm trying to get some 9mm. And they have you either get two things. You either get, you got to buy a handgun in order to get a box, or you get the $80 box of 50. And I'm like, yeah, what the
mm.
fuck is happening here? And then
Yeah,
I can't get nothing shipped in, right? So it's not even if I find it online where a lot of these retailers, I can't even get shit shipped in. So this is stuff when I was growing up that I never cared about. I was like, yeah, whatever. Massachusetts has been good to me. I love my friends. I love my peers. But now it's a little bit different. Now it's, once again, as a dad, as somebody who's in charge of the torch of the legacy that they have to carry, I have to vote with my feet. I have to vote with action. And it's just like, like the person who raised you kind of, explained to you is like, these people are going to keep fucking us if we allow them to, but we could vote with our feet and get the fuck away from it for
yeah.
now.
And that was exact. The important thing for me when I was raised by this man, he told me that my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
I was raised in Massachusetts actually.
Yeah, nice.
And he was always Massachusetts sucks.
Yep.
Massachusetts sucks. Taxachusetts. You know what I
Massachusetts.
mean? This is a
Yeah.
communist state. Like he used to say all these things that sounded kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And then I turned 18 and he left. He left Massachusetts and he went to Maine.
Nice.
And he lived way up on the border of Canada and Maine, and he lived a very sovereign lifestyle. Like he did what the fuck he wanted to do, when the fuck he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
And I respect him for it, because that's really like, now that I'm at the age that I'm at and I'm a homeowner, and
Yeah.
I'm like that's really my goal in life, to be at a place where like there can be less fuckery from outside influences.
Yeah. My wife and I are heading to Austin next month around my birthday for a week, and it's a very early. I mean, I haven't told many people, so this is kind of exclusive for you. But yeah, it's a very early look at us attempting to move with our feet, right? Like, I'm not gonna change Massachusetts. My ass ain't gonna be out here picketing for no fucking bullshit. That's not gonna
Nope.
change. But there's obviously a mecca of people that think like me, and there's obviously a mecca of people that understand me. And if I can get closer to that crowd, especially before the shit hits the fan, it's a good setup. I'm not saying Massachusetts is dangerous, and I'm not saying I'm bad, but
It
shit
is.
will go. Shit will go sour in Massachusetts way faster than it will in like a Texas for sure.
Yeah, Massachusetts is like the Handmaid's Tale in real life.
Word, I could give you that. I'll give you that. I mean, listen, I'm gonna be real, LC. Listen, I'm a very fortunate individual. I work very hard, so I'm a very fortunate individual, dude. I got pretty much what I want. My kids got what they want. I'm comfortable in my house. Like, I'm not gonna act like living in this state has, suffocated me to the point where I can't have a happy life. I'm an extremely happy guy. I'm good. But yeah, man, the older you get, the more you start to look into, I read a lot of stoicism. So you start to look at your death, you start to think of your mortality, and then you start to realize that it's not about how happy you are, it's about the happiness that you're about to leave these people with, your loved ones. And that's more important to me. And that's why I would make a move to a place like that, because I know if I pass away, they're going to be in an area that behaves like I showed them to behave, right? And not one that's just going to like suffocate them to death with rules and legislation. So Massachusetts is great, was my whole point of that. But yeah, as I get older, is where do I want to leave my family if something were to happen to me? I don't think Massachusetts is that place.
Right.
Yeah, that's all.
My thing, I mean, we've talked about it before too. Like, my thing really, I'm kind of, stuck where I'm at for the time being. I'm a business owner.
Yep.
And
shout out to you.
Also, the reason that I have an anonymous Twitter and I also have an anonymous podcast, because like I have some strong opinions.
Yep.
But I also need to keep food on the table.
Yes, sir. I understand.
So like, but me and you have talked about it before. My goal being where I'm at now is like we're trying to be my wife, and my kids are trying to be a self-sustaining homestead.
It's beautiful.
Like, I want to be, I want to grow our own, we're getting there. But like, I want to grow my own food. I want to raise my own meat. Like way before all this ESG shit, like I've been, me and you started talking about it. I was looking into windmills and solar power here. Cause like, I don't want to rely on if everything goes to shit tomorrow, like I don't really want my quality of life to change.
Word.
You know what I mean? I want to wake up and go outside and like have shit to eat and not be like, oh shit, I can't go to Walmart. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I want to be able to turn the light switch on if the grid goes down tomorrow.
Yeah. So you're like, definitely, you're ahead there, man.
Yeah, these things are like important to me. And like really, the not the long term, but like we'll say the short term goal is really to like get that home mining set up that, I've been talking to you and shout out Ronan and shout out Huddle Tarantula, like, try to get that set up here to like sustain the homestead so I don't have to work the way that I've worked my whole life, because I beat the shit out of myself to have what I have.
Word. Same here. Likewise.
School was cool and all, and me and you are very similar in the fact that I'm much more of a self-educator than sitting in a classroom and listening to somebody talk.
Yep.
I've used my body to earn what I have. And that's taking its toll. Yeah, proof of work. Exactly. Proof of work every morning when I get up and I'm like, fuck, I need to take some leave before I go to work because my sciatic nerve is killing me. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, you got to work on that. Yeah. But yeah, man, proof of work. I'm writing something about that. Hopefully one of my bigger pieces that'll come out soon. And it's that, man, proof of work is amazing, and Bitcoin is the only way it works. But listen, the reason your wife decided to marry you is because up to that point where you asked her, you've done your proof of work. She felt comfortable. She felt trustful of you. She was able to put her life, her future in your possession because of what you've proven up to that point. The same thing with a baker, right? When a baker makes a loaf of bread that we sit down on a Sunday morning, nice, fresh, and hot, you trust that the baker made some dope bread because of their proof of work, right? It doesn't taste the same if the baker doesn't put their work in. So, yeah, man, I'm really big on that lately, especially with myself. I'm very proud of, especially when we go back to the podcasting, like, my other podcast is about to have episode 89. You know, the Talking in Bits podcast is about to go into this 23rd episode, and that's whether it's good or not, whether people like it or not. That's my proof of work. That's my contribution. And people will gravitate to that, and they can never say that I don't love this thing enough to share it, right? So,
right.
We'll find out who the real Bitcoiners are when the bear market comes. But I'm gonna tell you right now, this is more than finances to me. This is a life thing. So I'll still be around.
Exactly. So to kind of round it out, right? I got
Sure.
a couple questions I like to ask everybody, right?
Let's go.
First of all, probably the most weird one. Do you eat any weird shit like some of these Bitcoiners? Because we got carnivore only, we got caveman diet, we got
the only weird thing I do, and I've been doing it for about 3 years now, and it's not weird. I intermittent fast, and my window's been the same for about 3 years. So it's 10 to 6. I open at 10 in the morning. That's when I have my, it's usually a protein shake, and then I end at 6 with a dinner. I used to weigh over 350 pounds, and if we want to talk about proof of work, well, now I weigh 170 pounds. So
that's deep.
I've made a big transformation, and I still eat like shit. Friday nights, which was last night, my wife and I had Chinese food and donuts, right? So we have this like reward system that we give ourselves, but I am leaning towards more of a carnivore diet because I hate veggies. Naturally, I've always hated veggies, not because of their latest research. Just don't like the taste of it. So I've been kind of going carnivore, but I still like my carbs, man. I'm a Puerto Rican. I still get my rice and beans in there. And
I was gonna say, how you gonna cut rice out?
Yeah, listen, and we're big on totones too, and all that stuff. So I can't cut that stuff out, but I balance it out. Is my point with my intermittent fasting, so I don't swell up like a fucking balloon. And I work out every day. I don't do gym workouts. I'm a big kettlebell guy, so I usually bang like 20 to 30 minute with some double kettlebell action.
Nice.
Yeah.
I do. And probably I think I'm going on like 2 weeks right now. I cut carbs completely out of my life 2 weeks ago.
Oh shit! How's your thoughts, bro? Foggy?
No.
Oh, nice, dude.
Honestly, I feel great. But I'm Portuguese.
Okay.
So like sweetbread.
Yeah. You're fucking yourself.
Yeah, I'm like, oh my god, you know what I mean? My wife's like, you can have some whole grain. I'm like, I can't have some whole grain. I can't.
You can't have no whole grain.
No, fuck no. I have one whole grain. I'd be laying in bed eating a bag full of sweetbread. Guaranteed. 0 to 100. I don't do anything halfway.
Good luck at those family get-togethers, though, bro. You're gonna be fucked.
Dude, it's so rough.
Are you trying to keep it for like a record, or are you just doing it as long as you can?
Honestly, I don't like. So like the quick synopsis of it is like, I pretty much fucked my life up from the time I was like 18 to the time I was like 26.
Give me more. What do you mean?
So I was like a straight up. I mean, I went to work every day.
Yeah.
But outside of going to work every day, like I was everything. I mean, there wasn't a substance I didn't put in my body.
Fair.
There wasn't like, I had no sense of responsibility. Yeah. I had like the world owed me.
I'm with you. Same thing for me. I've had that experience.
Yeah. So like, about 5 years ago, like I got my life together, and like I quit everything.
Nice.
And like I don't like what my body has turned into. Like I always thought I had like this killer physique, but it's easy to have a killer physique when you don't fucking eat.
Yeah. That's tough.
You know what I mean? When you're living on a powdered diet, it's easy to like stay thin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like I just don't like the way I look after 5 years. So
yeah, but you gotta work on it though, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah. So like I mean, my work is very, very physical.
Yep, I saw that in the pics and stuff, I imagine.
Yeah. So the physical aspect is great, and like as far as like muscle wise, I'm a big dude. I'm 6'1" and I'm over 200 pounds.
All right.
But I want to be more defined, and the research that I've done has said like all these empty carbs are fucking useless. You're just eating them to feel full.
Yeah, and the insulin spike just fucks us over, makes us tired.
Right, exactly. So I'm trying some different shit.
I love it.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We'll see if it works. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But I looked into like you said, I looked into the carnivore shit, and I like what I see. And I mean, I come from a background and a lineage and a heritage that's very meat heavy anyway, so it's pretty easy.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's kind of
just constantly falling forward, man. I'm with you. I'm the same type of guy, man. I try different shit. I constantly fall forward, and eventually, man, I snag onto some cool shit.
Yeah, exactly. So, what the last two questions, right?
Yep.
Your personal definition of what sovereignty means to you, and your personal definition of what being a maxi is.
Sovereign to me is complete perfect autonomy. Sort of like you explained earlier, being sovereign means that I'm this is going to be a corny Jocko Wilkins thing, but ownership, right? I own my life. I own the destination it ends up in, whether it's in physical, whether like my world around me, my health, my education, right? My defense, right? As long as I'm in control of all these things, and I reach those to a point where I can sleep better at night, I think that's sovereignty to me. But the easy answer is just not being dependent on outside influence, being in control. What was the other one? My fault. Maxi.
Yeah, what does being a Bitcoin maximalist mean to you? Because I found that everybody got a little bit of a different definition, right? I'm very rigid in what I believe.
Yeah,
I found some people are not. It's Bitcoin only.
Okay.
It's Bitcoin only. I never sell. I don't sell a single fucking Satoshi. I will exchange Satoshis for goods, right? Like there was somebody on Twitter the other day that was like, "Oh, I bought some Bitcoin hats and they don't fit me. They're too big." And I commented right away. I was like, "Oh, I got a huge fucking head. I'll buy you hats." You know what I mean? And he was like, "Oh, shoot me a price." And I was like, "I don't know, 100,000 sats."
Boom.
And he was like, "Done." But I don't like, I will never, I'm not going to sell what I think is a top to try to buy. Like, I don't believe in that. I feel like if you truly believe in what Bitcoin is, there's no reason to sell for fiat.
For sure.
And nobody yet has figured out how to time tops or bottoms. So, if they come out with a concrete book on that, maybe I'll look into it. But until then, people are just getting wrecked left and right and leverages, and I'm good.
Yeah, it goes up forever. So once the tap, there is no tap. But
exactly.
I guess the only alternative would be what we talked about earlier, which is like get fiat on collateral. So a maxi to me is a little bit of what I said earlier, but it's basically, back to, the original revolution is basically the farmers, the artisans, right? Those people that had that conviction to say, I'm going to stand up and fight. So to me, a maxi means is that I've already volunteered my services to this war, and I'm willing to take up any type of, defense position to be able to fight this war for this cause. Sometimes that means that I have a tunnel vision, meaning that, like you said, all Bitcoin. But my conviction is so heavy that I'm willing to fight for the liberation of what's about to come. So to me, is to sum that up in one line is I'm volunteering my services to fight this big fight. And that's what a Bitcoin maxi is, a person who's willing to volunteer for the war, basically.
That's what's up.
Yeah, man. In my opinion, because there's people that love Bitcoin, but then there's the maxis, and the maxis do it all. They defend us, right? When people come attack with FUD, they teach us young ones, right? They teach us, I say us as a general, but they teach the young ones. They teach, they spread their word. They put their time in. The actual developers that work on Bitcoin Core are volunteering their time, right? So this is just people that have stood to say, hey, my time and energy, which is the rarest and scarcest thing that I have, I'm going to give it up to this fight. So those are maxis. And I consider myself to be one of those people, because I will spend 8 hours writing something. I will spend 3 hours a week recording and editing a podcast. I will sit down with you for an hour and some change, because this is part of my fight. This is my job. So I consider myself a Bitcoin maxi.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, Jose, I appreciate your time, brother.
I appreciate you, brother. I appreciate being able to connect with you. And that's the beauty of Bitcoin. And hopefully this ain't the last time we do this, man.
Yeah, man, definitely. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, later. Appreciate you.